Have you ever walked into a store, seen a limit 4 per customer sign, and suddenly found yourself grabbing 4, even if you only needed 1? Or perhaps in a negotiation, the first number mentioned, no matter how outrageous, seemed to warp every offer that followed. I certainly have, noticing my basket subtly expanding. This isn't just you, it's a powerful, hidden mental force at play, and it's affecting your choices right now. Today, let's dissect the subtle, pervasive pull that shapes our decisions, the anchoring effect. You'll learn how arbitrary numbers, initial impressions, and even casual suggestions become powerful anchors, quietly recalibrating your entire sense of what's reasonable or true. More importantly, I'll arm you with practical strategies to both recognize and navigate its powerful influence. Think about negotiating a salary for a new job. If you, the candidate, throw out 70K first, even if you secretly hoped for 60K, you've just set an anchor. Suddenly, 60K feels like a step down, while 75K feels like a win. If the employer had started with 50K, your perception would be entirely different. I've personally seen how the first number in a discussion can utterly shift the goalposts. Think of it like a silent thumb on the scale, tipping your perception before you even realize it. Or consider a car dealership. A vehicle is initially listed at an inflated price, say $50,000. When the salesperson generously offers it to you for $40,000, that $40,000 feels like a fantastic deal, a huge saving. But if the initial anchor had been $35,000, $40,000 might feel expensive. Your mind grabs hold of that initial number, like a root in soil, and every subsequent value is measured against that first bite. It fixes your baseline. This immediate, often arbitrary, information subtly controls your perception of value and fairness long before you consciously engage. It's a constant, invisible negotiation. Imagine this. You're asked to estimate the percentage of African countries in the UNDOR. But right before, you've just spun a rigged wheel of fortune. It lands on 65. Would that random 65 influence your answer? What if it landed on 10? Most of us would confidently say, no way, it's irrelevant. But in 1974, psychologists Amos Tversky and Daniel Kahneman blew minds by proving that it absolutely does. Now, imagine you spin a wheel of fortune. If it lands on 10, you'll guess around 25% of the world's countries are in Africa. Spin it to 65, and suddenly your estimate jumps to 45%. The truly mind-bending part. Even though you know the wheel is rigged, a number like 65 still pulls your guess higher. This isn't just about a random wheel. Fast forward to 2003. And researchers Dan Ariely, George Lowenstein, and Drazen Prelec took this even further. In their study, Coherent Arbitrariness, they had participants write down the last 2 digits of their social security number, a truly arbitrary figure. Then, they asked them how much they would be willing to pay for various items, like a bottle of wine or a computer mouse. Astonishingly, those with higher social security numbers consistently offered to pay more. What this reveals is mind-bending. Anchors don't just nudge your answer. They warp the entire landscape of what you believe is possible. They set a new, often unconscious, baseline for what seems normal or acceptable. It challenges our very notion of rational decision-making. The anchoring effect isn't confined to numbers on a price tag or a random wheel. It permeates our daily interactions. Think about a job interview. The first impression you make, the initial confidence you exude, or even the first salary figure mentioned in a negotiation, these all act as anchors. They establish a frame of reference that shapes all subsequent perceptions and discussions. Imagine a legal negotiation. One side throws out a wildly unrealistic damages claim. That initial number, no matter how baseless, latches onto every counter-offer that follows, subtly pulling the final settlement far higher than it ever should have gone. Many of us fall prey to common misconceptions about anchoring. Perhaps you think intelligent people are immune to this, or once I know it's arbitrary, I can easily correct my judgment. The research tells us otherwise. Anchoring affects everyone, regardless of intelligence or expertise. And crucially, simply knowing about an anchor often isn't enough to fully overcome its influence. Our brains process that initial number as a starting point. An adjustment from there is often insufficient. It's a subconscious recalibration. The anchoring effect isn't merely a cognitive shortcut. It's a phantom hand reaching into your mind, pulling the levers of your choices long before you even sense the manipulation begin. So, what can we do to shield ourselves from its subtle control, and perhaps even wield it ethically? Simply recognizing that an anchor is likely at play empowers you to pause and question. When you're presented with a number or an initial offer, consciously consider if it's genuinely relevant or if it's merely establishing an arbitrary starting point. A powerful mitigation strategy is to generate multiple anchors. Before entering a negotiation or making a big purchase, research a wide range of prices or outcomes. Establish your one anchor, an independent assessment of value, before you're exposed to anyone else's. You can also consciously re-anchor yourself by focusing on your alternative options or the true value you ascribe to something. It's a mental gym workout. How much are you being anchored right now in a decision you're about to make? By understanding this bias, we move from being unwitting puppets to conscious decision makers, navigating the mental landscape with a more reliable map. If this map of the anchoring effect helped you see something you'd missed, you'll want the next region, how we predictably undervalue things we haven't lost. Yet, thanks to the Endowment effect, tap the red subscribe button and hit the bell to join Mental. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next exploration.